Okay, well, as I've said a few times here, one of the things that I want you all to be able to see and take away from this program is the variety of different resources that are available to you as a farmer, and where you might find information, questions, and information about your farming practices. So one of the big ones for that is UW Extension, and in support of UW Extension's work, the UW College of Agriculture and Life Sciences has a series of agriculture research stations around the state. The largest one, the flagship of that, is at Arlington, just north of Madison, and they have a number of different educational events throughout the year that people are open to the public and are there to provide some overviews on the kind of research that the agriculture specialists, the professors in UW CALS, the different departments that make up CALS, are part of and working on. I'll be following this with a video of an overview from Arlington, as well as some research from one of the specialists there, Dr. Francisco Arriaga, who is a soil specialist. So that'll be posted in the soils class. Maybe even put it in the business class too, a little more relevant to the work we're doing in soils, but I can post it for you in the resources of both the ag business class as well. I'll also post a link, a web link that takes you to the CALS Agriculture Research Station page, and then you can do a little more look at that. Each one of the stations specialize in a little bit different activities, so there's different research going on at almost all of them. CALS, the Arlington being the largest, has over 2,000 acres of farm up there, and pretty much all of the agriculture departments in CALS that have a part in any kind of production agriculture have research going on there and do a bit of their work. So, all right, we're going to meet Sean Wheeler from the Arlington Agriculture Research Station, and then Dr. Francisco Arriaga and his grad student Laura Adams. So we'll be, as I said, we'll be meeting Dr. Arriaga as well as Sean Wheeler and the videos that are posted alongside this one. So as always, you can ask me any questions you need to, and I'll be glad to help point you in a way, but we'll also have the links to the resources up there on the resource tabs in both courses, so you'll be able to find out more information about that. All right.
UW Arlington Ag Research Station. We're part of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. It's approximately a little over 2,000 acre farm, and they kind of call this the flagship station because there's 12 other stations around Wisconsin, and this is the largest one, probably with the most studies going on.
Yeah, pretty much every department in CALS that has a agriculture component is out here. Is that correct, Sean?
That's pretty accurate. Yes. Yeah. There's a lot of studies that I'm not even sure. We have we have tree projects going on.
That's an old soils project, by the way. We were talking about that. There was a waste management project that was started by Art. I'm drawing a blank on his last name.
Steve Art?
No, Art. He did a waste management project, and he uses hybrid poplars as a way to do.
You're talking down on that road going towards the dump.
Right by the railroad tracks area.
Right. We actually just razzed all them trees.
Yeah.
There was no use for them anymore, and they were so old that they actually just removed all of them this year. We actually removed around 50 acres of hardwoods.
Oh wow.
Different, mostly elms.
Yeah.
But, we're actually going to reclaim that property into tillable ground and try to farm it. But it's going to take a while to get all the stumps gone.
Sure.
It's a lot of stumps. But so on this particular station, we have I think there's around 13 units, 12 or 13, something like that. So we have a big dairy operation, just under 500 cows. And then we also have 2 beef units, We have one that's called beef nutrition and one that's called beef grazing. Then we also have swine, the pigs over on Highway I. And then we also have the sheep unit, which you probably have seen or know about. They do a good job with the sheep down there. And then there's a few horses at the beef grazing farm. But as far as animals, that's it. We used to have a chicken facility, poultry, and we used to have a turkey facility. Them two have since closed. We still call them turkeys and chickens because that's what everybody knows them by. And there's other things going on at them units.
Sure.
It's just not no animals now. So, and then you got the outlying ones. You have like your horticulture unit up on Campen Road. Then you have plant pathology right off of Highway 51. Then you have entomology, insects, and that's right off of Highway 51 on Badger Lane.
Yeah.
Let's think now. Going through the units I missed. I'm sure I did.
Of course, agronomy and soil
Agronomy and
science.
soils is right across the road here from headquarters. Yeah, we all work together, but we kind of have our own little separate world too.
And then you also are responsible for raising the feed stuffs for the dairy and the hogs and all the rest of the animals, right?
That's our primary function here at the station. Is being a member of the farm crew operations. You are responsible for planting all the crops. We do all the spraying. Everything to do with field crops, we handle it all, and we put up the feed for all the animal units, as well as we do some cash cropping also. But that's what our function here on the field. They're called Ag Research Equipment Operators. That's our titles.
Okay.
So.
And then as far as one of the things that I want to make sure everybody understands once they're outside of my class is places to come and throughout their farming career for opportunities to see the cutting edge, and that's one of the things that happens here. I know in the soils and agronomy every year they have a field day, and is that true for a lot of the departments, Sean, that they'll have their field days to share what they're learning?
Yes, we have a number of different field days. We have organic. We have, I'm not sure the acreage, Mike is better with that, but we have a couple different organic areas, and then we also have the agronomy soils field day. That's our big one.
Yeah.
And that brings in colleagues from all over. I mean, farming, public.
Almost all of the service people that work, the CCAs are called Certified Crop Advisors.
Your crop scouts, that's who a lot of them attend, so they can stay up to date on the current trends in agriculture.
Your sheep unit also does some field days in beef too, I believe, right? Or beef not so much anymore?
Mostly field trips.
Okay.
We do a lot of field trips with the younger kids.
Excellent.
But as far as the actual field days, not so much with beef and sheep.
Okay.
But, and then we also support researchers across the road there, like Randy was saying, the soybean group, the corn group, we do a lot of field work for them. If they need equipment or an operator, that's who we go and support, so they can do their studies.
Sure.
A lot of them have their own equipment and they operate them themselves, but they still need things from us once in a while, and that's what we're here for.
Excellent. Do you have any questions?
Well, I have a handout you can look through, but this was originally, I think back in the late 50s, early 60s is when they purchased this land. And actually in the back sheet, it tells you some of the farm. No, this sheet doesn't, but there was I want to say 7 or 8 family farms that they bought up in the late 50s and 60s. And that's how we got this whole farm in one unit.
Sure.
So the College of Agriculture was smart back then to come up to the Arlington area because we have some of the best soils in the world. I know you hear that. Have you heard that before?
No, I haven't.
Maybe it's just we're bragging about it, but this plain old silt home soil it's really rich. And Randy knows
highly
soil
productive.
scientist.
Yes, Very
It's
good land.
unbelievable. You could just keep digging down, down, down. It's just black, rich soil. It's very fertile. It's
Yeah.
very good for growing crops. So we're kind of spoiled that way.
Yeah.
I was one of the old superintendents, Darwin Fry, used to say it's very forgiving soils.
Yeah.
I never quite understood what that meant, but the more I'm here, the more I understand. It just seemed like we come out lucky every year with crops. They just grow tremendous crops. So.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Sean. We appreciate you sharing about the station and sharing your time with us today. And thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks for visiting.